So in this video, I'm going to build a custom MCP server which will be hosted inside Salesforce. Then I'm going to test that inside Visual Studio Code, and if everything looks good, then I'll be integrating that with Claude. Last week, Salesforce made a huge announcement during Trail ATX, and it's called Headless 360. Here is the announcement post. But what Salesforce is telling, the capabilities that your agent need will be exposed mainly as an API, MCP tool, or a CLI command so that humans and agents can build, act, and deliver experiences on any surface. There are 3 new innovations that will be delivered as part of this Headless 360. Number 1 is the new MCP tool and coding skills that give your coding agent full access to the platform. Number 2, a new experience layer that renders rich native interaction across every surface. And number 3, the new tool that gives you control over how agents behave in production, because this is very important. Before you deploy your agent to production, you'll be able to test how your agent behaves. And most importantly, after deployment also, you can keep on testing how your agent is behaving in the production environment. So this is very important. If you're a developer, then headless means that you can build on Salesforce any way you want. More than 60 MCP tools and 30 plus pre-configured coding skills give your coding agent a complete live access to the Salesforce platform. So this is really powerful. Here I am inside my Salesforce org. First thing I'll do, I'll go to setup, and inside setup in the quick find, I'll search for user interface, and I'll go here. 3 settings I need to enable before I go. So one is this one, enable Salesforce Platform REST API, Open API spec generation. Second one is the enable MCP server, and the third one is the enable Salesforce Platform REST API named query for agent action. So these are the 3 settings that I'll be enabling from my user interface settings. With that, I will go to the MCP server. So this is the place where all the MCP server will be listed down. So when you will go to this place, you'll probably find there are a lot of standard MCP servers being already deployed, because that's are coming as part of the platform. But those MCP servers will mainly be in an inactivate status. So if you want to use that, you need to make them activate. But today's demo is all about creating our own MCP server, right? So for that, I'll be clicking on this button, create Salesforce MCP server, and I'm going to give this a name as MCP server for Claude, and let's copy that in the description and click on create. Now this is the time when I need to add multiple tools inside this MCP server. Tools are basically the actions which will be taken when this MCP server will be used. So now to add the tool, all I need to do, I need to go here and click on add tools. There are multiple ways to add the tools. We can create an Apex action, we can create an Apex REST class or enable class, flow or named query API. All these things can be added as a tool inside MCP server. And in this video, I'm going to show an example of all of this. So let's start with the Apex REST. So for that, let me bring my Visual Studio Code and show you an Apex REST class, which I will be adding as a tool inside my own custom MCP server. So as you can see here, this is REST API class that I have. Its name is MCP create case. And this is the HTTP post method. So what the post method is basically doing, depending on the subject, description, and priority, it will be creating a new case and then returning the case number and a message. And this is the wrapper, which is basically storing the response. And this is the URL. So now I'm going to deploy this class. With the class deployed, next thing that I need to do, I need to create an Open API specification from this class. So for that, right click on this class and go and choose this option, create Open API document from this class. If you don't find this option, it means extension is not installed in your Visual Studio Code. So for that, all you need to do, you need to go to the extension, and here you need to type Apex Open API, and then this one. This is the extension that you need to install. Once you install that, if you come to this class and right click, you will find an option called create Open API document from this class. So select that and then press enter, and it's going to create an Open API specification from this class. And here is the specification from this class. The specification will be stored inside this folder called external service registration. And here is the specification, MCP create case. So with the specification ready, I will deploy this as well inside my org, and the specification is deployed. So now I'll go back to my Salesforce org again. So in the Salesforce org, this time I'll go to a separate section called API catalog. And I should be able to find this one. This is a new one, MCP create case. So I'll click on that. And this is a post method execute because that's what is mentioned here. Post method, and this is a function name execute that is exactly being displayed here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate that. So I click on this activate button, select this one, and then at the very end there should be a update button. So I click on the update button and this one is activated. With this one is activated, what I'll do, I'll go back to my MCP server again. This time my MCP server was this one, MCP server for Claude. What I'm going to do, I'm going to click on tool, and then from here I'm going to click on add tool, and this time I'm going to choose Apex REST function, and this is the one, MCP create case. So I'll select that, and this is exactly the method. This is the input schema, this is the output schema. So I'm going to add the tool, click on done, and here let's give it a proper name. So let's say create case record. So now I can activate that and test this MCP server. So I'm going to click on this activate button. So MCP server is activated. So now I'm going to bring the Visual Studio Code again. Now inside my Visual Studio Code, I'm going to click on Agentforce Vibes, and here I'm going to click on Manage MCP Server. And then I'm going to click on this gear icon. I'm going to click on this remote server, and here let's give it a name as Claude MCP server. And in the server URL, what I am going to do, I am going to copy this URL and put it here, and then add server. Server is added. This is the one. If I expand that, I can see there is this one already added, right? This is the only tool that I have. So now let's test this MCP server. So now I'm telling, please create a dummy case for me. And now let's see what will happen. So it's telling that there is an MCP server called Claude MCP server. So it's working now. So here comes a message. Agentforce wants to use a tool on the Claude MCP server. So that's the name of the MCP server. And this is the tool. And this tool needs my approval. So I'm going to click on approve. And very soon it will create the, yep, here is a message. And here is the case number. So let's copy the case number, go back to Salesforce and search for this case. And yes, this is the case. So now literally I have one MCP server, and inside that I have a tool which is basically an Apex REST class. And with that REST class, I'm able to create a dummy case. Okay, so now let's go back to the MCP server again. So now I'm going to add a different type of tool. So for that, first I'm going to deactivate the server, and this time I will be adding a tool which is a flow. Okay, so for that, let me show you the flow that I've already built, and this is the flow. So what this flow is basically doing, so this is a very simple use case, but my intention is to show you how you can add different options as a tool inside your MCP server. For example, how you can add flow as a tool inside your MCP server. So it's going to be auto launch flow. And then what is basically doing, get contact, depending on whatever the contact name I'll provide, it will first find out the contact. And then if the contact found, then it will fetch all the cases for that particular contact. So this flow is ready and this flow is activated. So now if I go to my MCP server and click on this flow here, I can type fetch cases for contact. And this is the flow. I'm going to click on add tool. It's being added. So if I go to the tool now, this is a new one. So let's quickly give it a proper name. Fetch cases for contact, save and activate. Okay, with that, let's bring the Visual Studio Code and test this one. Okay, here I am in the Visual Studio Code. I will go back to my list of MCP servers, and here I am going to click on refresh. So now I have the second tool also available to me. Okay, with that, let's test that. So let's go back to my Salesforce org. I want to find out the list of cases for this contact team. So now I am going to put a command, list all cases for contact, and here is a contact. So now let's see. Okay, already looks good. Let's review the message. Agentforce wants to use a tool from this MCP server, and the tool name is fetch cases for contact. So that's the flow. And we have added the flow as a tool inside the MCP server. So I'm going to approve that. And very soon it will provide me all the cases. Okay, that's the response. And yeah, that's exactly. So if I validate that with this particular contact, yeah, team has 2 cases, and that's exactly what I'm seeing inside my Visual Studio Code. So this looks really good. Okay, with that, let's move on and let's go to the MCP server again. Let's deactivate that, and this time I am going to add a Aura enabled class as a tool inside this MCP server. So for that, let's go back to the Visual Studio Code, and here I have already created one Apex class which I'm going to show you now. So let's open this controller class. So as you can see, this is an account controller class. I have create account, which is Aura enable method. I have a get account name, another Aura enable method, update account name, delete account name. These are all the Aura enable method. So I have created this Apex class. So I'm going to deploy this first. With the deployment, same thing. We need to create the OpenAPI specification from this class. Right click here and click on create OpenAPI document from this class. So this is the specification. With the specification ready, I'm going to deploy that again. Okay, so deployment is done, and now I'm going to go back to my Salesforce org. So inside Salesforce org, again, I will go for my API catalog, and I should be able to find this one, which is account controller. This is the one, and these are the 4 operations: delete account, create account, update account, and get account name. And so let's activate these actions. They are all activated. So click on update. Okay, now I'll go back to my MCP server, and this time I'm going to choose Aura enabled, and here is the one that I've just activated. I need to click on this add tool and then done. So now this all 4 tools are being added, and now this time let's activate. Okay, it's being activated, and if I go to the tool section, I can see the new ones, the get account name, update account name, create account name, and delete account name. So it looks good. So now let's go back to the Visual Studio Code and test that. I'm going to the Agentforce again and go to the MCP server and just click on refresh to bring all the new tools. Okay, looks good. So these are the new tools: get account name, and then create account from account controller. Perfect. So let's test that. Create an account with the name of technical Potpourri. Okay, perfect. If you see the message, same thing. This is the MCP server. It is my own custom MCP server, and inside that there is a tool called create account from account controller. So it's want to use this to create the account. So I'm going to approve that. So as you can see, the account has been created successfully. So here is account ID. So now if I go to my Salesforce org and put the account ID here, perfect. I can see this is account. Okay, looks good. Can I tell one more comment? Can you please delete the account with name technical Potpourri? Let's see whether it can do that. Okay, so it's trying to run the command. And it's telling the account is being successfully deleted. So this looks really awesome. So far, I was able to add REST class, a flow, and 4 Aura enable methods inside my custom MCP server as a tool. Okay, so the last one which I want to show you is basically this new one, which is the named query API. So for that, in the quick find, I'll click on named query API. So this is a place where I'll be creating my new named query. So let's give it a name as fetch opportunity. API version I'm giving 65, and description again like fetch opportunity. And in this query, I'm going to give this one select ID amount description name from opportunity, where name equals to op name, and then click on validate. And immediately op name is basically an input parameter. And here I am giving the description as opportunity name. So everything looks good. So this is my query, and then I'm going to click on save. The moment I click on save, I need to go back to the API catalog again. And I should be able to find this one, fetch opportunity. This is a new one which came from my named query. So I'll click on that, and this is a get method, which is a fetch opportunity. So I'm going to activate the action, select this one and click on update. So this one is activated now. Perfect. With that, I'll go back to my MCP server one more time, and then this time I'm going to select named query API, and here is the new API, fetch opportunity. So I'll select that and add this as a tool, click on done and activate that. So my MCP server is activated. So inside my MCP server, I have 7 tools. Out of the 7 tools, one tool is a Apex REST service. Second tool is basically a flow. There are 4 tools which are basically Aura enabled methods. And the last one is the 7th one is basically a named query. Okay, so I have a combination of all different Salesforce stuffs which I've built and added that as a tool inside my MCP server. Okay, with that, it's time to test that. So I am inside my Agentforce 5s, and I am going to go to my MCP server and refresh this one to bring the new tool, which is basically the named query. And where is that? Fetch opportunity. This is the one. Okay, so now let's go back and let's open an opportunity. Let's say this one. Okay, I am going to copy this and put that here. Fetch the opportunity with name this. And here is MCP server, and here is a tool, and it's asking for my permission. So I'm going to approve that. And here is the 2 opportunities with the same name. This is the first opportunity, this is the second opportunity with the same name. Basically, I have created an MCP server, which is my own custom MCP server. It was hosted inside Salesforce. Inside that MCP server, I have added 7 tools. And one tool is Apex REST service, one tool is a Salesforce flow, one tool is named query, and there are 4 different Salesforce or enable methods which also have added as multiple tools inside that MCP server. And I have tested that inside my Visual Studio Code, and it looks good. So this is a time when I want to integrate that with Claude and use that. Before that, I'd like to tell you, if you want to know how to integrate your Salesforce MCP server with Claude, I have a dedicated video which I published just 4 days ago. And in this video, I've shown you the step-by-step approach to integrate MCP server with Claude. It involves creating an external client app, getting the client ID and secret, and then use that client ID and secret to add the MCP server as a connector inside Claude Code. This is something that you need to know before you continue with this section of the video. So I highly recommend that you please watch this, because this shows you the basic of connecting Salesforce MCP server with Claude. So with that, I'm going to bring my Claude here, and this time I'm going to go to my settings, and from the settings I'm go to the connectors, and I already have these connectors connected, but I'm going to disconnect that and also going to remove that because I'm going to create a new connector. So I'm going to tell Salesforce connector, custom connector. I'm going to give a name as Salesforce. Inside that MCP server URL, I am going to go to my MCP server and copy this URL. which I'm going to put it here inside the advanced setting. This is the place where I need to put the client ID and secret from the external client app, which I've already shown you in my previous video, which you can definitely go and understand that. Here is my client ID and secret, and I'm going to click on add. And now it's telling me to click on connect, which I'll do. And this time it's still asking me for my username and password, which I gave. And okay, looks like it's been connected. Okay, if I click on configure now, look, all the 7 tools which I configured inside my MCP server is being added here. Looks awesome. So now let's test that from Claude. So here I am going to inside connector. I'm going to use, I don't need to use Slack. I don't need to use Gmail, only the Salesforce connector. And this time I'm going to tell create dummy case for me. And this is the instruction I'm giving inside Claude. And immediately, this is the one it wants to use. And immediately, if you click on result, it's telling this is the create case record. This is the tool that it wants to use. So I'm going to say allow. And it will create a case for me and present me the case number right inside Claude. Perfect. Look, it created a case using the MCP server that was hosted inside Salesforce and gave me the result back. So now if I copy that and put it here just to verify. Exactly, this is a case. Find all cases for contact this. And let's see. Perfect. It immediately told me that it wants to use fetch cases for contact from Salesforce to get the information. So I say allow. Here are the cases found. 1013, 1014. Tell me more about the opportunity this. Enter. Perfect. Another tool from the same MCP server. Fetch opportunity. So I'm going to click on allow. Here are the details of the opportunity. This looks awesome. So literally, I have built my own MCP server, which is hosted inside Salesforce. And then I've used multiple Salesforce tools like Apex REST services, Apex ordinable class, flow, named query, and add that as a tool inside my MCP server. And once it's activated, I was able to use that inside my Claude as a connector and take advantage of that. So this is what is Headless 360 all about. Everything inside Salesforce is exposed as an MCP, as an CLI. So the way we used to do the development, the way we used to do the integration is going to change. This is super powerful. Let me know what do you think. Put your feedback in the comment section of this video. And if you like this video, please smash the like and please subscribe to my channel Technical Potpourri. And don't forget to click on the bell icon because I will be publishing more videos like this and I want you to be notified immediately these videos go live. I'll see you all in my next video. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you. Bye-bye.